All right, I think, yep, we're live. Okay, so now, how do you say your last name? It's Lavera?
Lavera.
Lavera, right? Okay, I figured. But you never know. I don't want to sound like the idiot who pronounces your name wrong.
Very much.
The first question I was just going to ask you is kind of your relationship with horror in general, because I think that's what I care most about.
Yeah, I've been watching horror since I was a baby, since I can remember. My mom was a really big horror fan, and the first horror film I remember watching was Poltergeist, and that like sparked my fear of clowns like pretty instantly, because of that freaking porcelain clown doll that scares me to this day. And I mean, granted, Poltergeist I think is a pretty timeless film. I think it still holds up really well, and it's still spooky in a lot of weird ways. So yeah, and I think horror is one of those genres that I don't need to be in the mood for. Like I'm always in the mood for it. Whereas like romantic movies I'm not really into that much. Like I really have to be in the mood for it. And same with like certain action films, but like horror, I can watch it all the time.
So you're not just someone who was hired into the genre. You actually love the genre, which is
I do love it. I'm an expert, but I do really love it.
It's not necessary, obviously. I mean, there's plenty of people who don't like horror and work in the genre and do great with it. But it's always fun as horror fans to meet and talk to people who are part of it and actually are into it, because I don't know, that just makes it more special, because
it's
they feel like
get
us.
It. Yeah. Exactly. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I think it's true. I think like sometimes horror can feel kind of niche when it comes to like film lovers. So yeah, I do. And I have found really wonderful friendships that flourished because of horror, like our mutual love of horror. So yeah, there's something special about meeting people that also love horror, because it can feel kind of like I said, niche at times.
Yeah. And there's kind of like a stigma around horror fans too, right? People kind of expect you to be unwell mentally or messed up somehow.
Can I just say, like, super quick, I've met a really, like, an enormous amount of wonderful horror fans because of Terrifier 2. And I have to admit, like, I was told by a lot of people, like, oh, be careful with those people, like that. But, like, just the most amazing, genuine, kind, welcoming people I've ever met. And I've made some really wonderful relationships and friendships with these people for that reason. And yeah, I think like, they might assume that they're serial killers because they enjoy it. Like, it's a great way for a lot of sane people to find catharsis in you know what I mean? Because we all
absolutely.
Us, right? And if you can find it in a safe way, in a controlled environment, like if you can get that release through horror, like that's the healthiest way, in my opinion, to experience deranged stuff.
Now, serial killers only watch Exorcist 3 on loop.
Oh my gosh.
True.
Have you caught Dahmer yet?
Yes, I did. I watched the whole thing, and I mean, I'm a huge Evan Peters fan. I actually met him once when we were both going in for a fitting in the same building, and it was on Halloween. And I like offered him Halloween candy, and he was like, "No, I'm gonna diet." Which is
only humans.
All humans say, "No, you can't." I was like, "All right, cool, man. Nice to meet you." But I thought they actually did a pretty good job with that. I think they were. It wasn't. Yes, it was about him, but I think they really paid homage to the victims and their families. Like I think that they were delicate about telling their stories, and they centered their experiences and how his shitty actions affected everyone around him. And I appreciated that. How did you guys like it?
We're not finished with it yet.
We're busy with the channel.
Oh my goodness! I think we watched.
It gives us very little time.
Yeah, episode 6.
We've watched episode 6. He just had the relationship with the deaf guy. And that was some seriously
so intense.
It's hard to get back to it after that one.
It is because it's like, oh my gosh, these are they're real people
who care. Yes, and that's what I appreciated about the series. people, and they emphasize that, and you care about that character, like, and character, you care about that real person that existed.
Yeah.
And I thought all of the performances, especially from the family, were just heartbreaking and beautiful and so grounded, and I really appreciated it. So I won't like obviously spoil anything. I hope you guys watch it and continue to do it. Yeah.
I know the story really well, so I don't think there's anything to spoil, but regardless.
But still, yeah.
So moving into Terrifier 2, because obviously we're gonna chat a little bit about that.
Yeah. So when were you like first approached to take part in Terrifier 2?
Yeah, it's funny. I think I was in Atlanta working on MacGyver. Like I did a show, the remake, obviously not the original MacGyver. That would be insane. And I think that was the summer of 2019. I don't really remember which month, but I got a self-tape request, and it was like a scene between Sienna and Barb. So I didn't really know much about Terrifier because I hadn't seen the original, and it just kind of felt like a family drama. So I was like, okay, this is a family drama, whatever. And then I got a call back, another self-tape, and I still didn't watch the film. And then I had a in-person chemistry read audition with Elliot Fulham, who plays Jonathan, and Casey Hartnett, who plays Allie in the film. And Damien offered me the role the same day, which is, I wasn't expecting that. Never happens. Like a director will never say you got the part. They'll usually contact your agent days, maybe weeks later to be like, hey, we'd like to offer the part to so-and-so. But he was just like, oh, you got the part. And I was like, oh, cool. That was easy. And then I watched Terrifier the same day and I loved it. I thought it was wild. I just had no idea of the cult following, which I think was daunting and jarring, but I'm grateful for it now.
So how long after Terrifier did this process start for Terrifier 2? Like you hadn't heard of Terrifier 1, or had it been out for a while, or?
Yeah, the original Terrifier, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I started in 2019 auditioning, and I guess Terrifier 1 had been out since 2016 at that point. And I had heard about it, and I had a lot of my friends tell me, like, you got to see this film. And I also saw the poster. I think it was on Netflix that I saw the poster when it was on Netflix of Art the Clown. I was like, that looks really cool. I should watch that. But I have this I have this toxic trait where I tend to watch like my comfort films, like the same films that I know that I love, my tried and true all the time, and I'm scared to try new stuff. Like it's so bad, it's awful, especially as an artist to do that. But I've learned from it since then, and I've done things. But yeah, I just didn't watch it until I got the part. So yeah.
Don't you think that it's a little ironic that the first thing that scared you was clowns, and then you're
and then
wild. It's wild. I've been afraid of clowns my entire life. Like I was gifted some really beautiful like clown porcelain dolls to me as a child, and I could not keep them, and they were expensive, and I could not keep them. I had to get rid of them. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. Like it was too much for me. So yeah, it was really easy to fear wild.
Yeah, it's funny too, because when I first saw Art the Clown, I saw him in All Hallows Eve. I mean, so long ago now, and you know, I don't know if they say his name immediately in the film, but I was like, oh, that's cool. They're doing an evil mime movie.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's like frowned upon because of his his look, but he definitely has mime makeup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure.
You know what? I've heard Dave talk about that a lot because he's like vehemently against people calling him a mime, and it's kind of funny. But his thing is mimes don't use props, and art use all types of things. So I think that's what sets him apart from mimes, even though he is very mime-like in the color of the, and also in his mannerisms and stuff. And
he doesn't talk.
Yeah,
and he doesn't as well.
Yeah. So I was watching an interview with Damien. I was fortunate enough to meet Damien and David a few years. They actually recognized me, weirdly enough. I was at a horror convention, and I walked by, and I'd never seen Damien before, but he'd watched my review, and he was like, "Sinister Cinema Reviews," and I was like, what? And I went over and I was like, who are you? And he's like, oh, I directed this. And I was like, wait, what? It was a trip. And then David and I, we hung out that night. It was very, very nice guys. But I was watching an interview with him, and he said that you do martial arts.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah, I've been doing martial arts my whole life, and I guess it started like 20 years ago. I don't know. I mean, I've had a lot of people in interviews recently ask me like, oh, did your martial arts get you involved with cinema? Like, did you start with stunts and do that? But it was really the other way around. Like, I was a huge cinema fan growing up, and I was obsessed with Bruce Lee. Like, I am still obsessed, but like, I really loved him growing up. And I loved like his crazy expressions, and like, he was obviously a badass and just an incredible martial artist. So I decided I wanted to do that. Like, if I were to do film, that was the kind of actor I wanted to be. Like, growing up, this is what I thought. And I decided I'm gonna take martial arts. So I started like Taekwondo really little, and through Taekwondo, I've met some incredible martial artists that have taught me like Kung Fu, Wushu, Kung Khmer, Muay Thai, Capoeira. So I've kind of dipped my toes in a lot of different martial arts, and it's really the art aspect of it, like the performance aspect of it, that I love so much. I do not like fighting people. I've done tournaments, and you have to fight a lot of your friends because they're like similar age groups and weight classes, and I didn't like that at all. I was like, I don't want to touch you. But when it came to performing like patterns and forms, I was obsessed with it. It felt like performance dance, but sharper and stronger. So yeah, I've been doing it for a long time, and I highly recommend it to anybody who ever asks. Do it. It's amazing. I love it.
That's so cool. We've been well, have you watched any of Cobra Kai? First of all, that's the question.
No. I mean, I've seen Karate Kid, but I just haven't. Yeah. I know I need to, because I have a lot of friends that have worked on Cobra Kai, so I need to watch it. I just, again, haven't gotten around to it because I'm bad at new stuff.
That's okay.
It's just they fight their friends a lot in it.
It's a lot of that. Yeah.
It was just funny for that. But
yeah,
I took some martial arts at one point for a little while. I studied Bujinkan ninjutsu, but I kind of dropped out of it after a while. I don't know why. I wouldn't mind going back to it. But
yeah, we've talked about, actually, because we watched Cobra Kai and we watched it with the girls, and we were kind of excited about it. I'm very uncoordinated, and I've never done any sport, anything in my life, so it'd be interesting to try it.
Well, you know what? Like, I also, just for my own sanity, I teach kickboxing just to like have an escape from acting, because it can be really draining. And you'd be surprised how many people tell me that exact same thing. Like, I'm really uncoordinated. I've never done it. And they pick it up so quick. Like, you'd be surprised how innate fighting is for us, or combat. Like, I don't know what it is, and it might be an ancestral thing, but you'd be surprised how quickly you would pick it up. I'm sure you'd crush it.
It would be fun, above all else. It would be a lot of fun to do. Yeah. So, so when you were filming, how did COVID kind of affect everything since it happened? It
was awful.
Yeah.
We started filming October 2019, and then we were filming a lot longer than I was told I was supposed to be filming. And it was March 2020, and we were upstate Canajoharie, New York. So we were already pretty quarantined with just the crew. And I remember getting like texts and calls from friends and family like, get toilet paper, get hand sanitizer, get masks. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, because I wasn't paying attention to the news or anything. And a couple of the producers were like, oh yeah, there's a pandemic. It's probably a hoax. Like, it's probably fine. Don't worry. We didn't take it seriously at first. And I guess because we were so disconnected from society, they just weren't taking it seriously. But we did have to stop. We had to stop filming beginning mid-March, and we all went our separate ways to quarantine and to be safe. And I think, Damien, I didn't go back until October, and they were all very safe. They wore the masks and everything and tried to social distance as much as possible. But Damien really used that time to film and refilm things that he didn't like, that he was like, this is so he didn't, there wasn't no time wasted on his part. So I think it was a blessing and a curse for him. For me, it sucked. I hated it. But for, the mastermind of the whole thing, I think he took advantage of it.
That's good.
What made you hate it so much? It limited you, and you had to. What was it?
Yeah, as an actor, like you feel like an actor when you're getting auditions, when you're doing this, when you're doing that, because you're not always working. As an actor, you feel like a working actor when you get auditions. That's the job. And my momentum went from multiple auditions a week to none. And I can get really depressed really quickly when that happens, because your source of income and your perceived purpose in life has stopped. So you're just like, okay, I'll just eat my pain away. And that's what I did. I just ate a lot during the pandemic and binge watched so many shows, which was fun. And I get to write off like Netflix and Hulu as homework as an actor. So that. So, but yeah, it was depressing to just not do anything. I felt like my momentum kind of like halted, which sucked.
Yeah, I think a lot of people worldwide, no matter their profession, felt that for sure. It's interesting too, because we recently watched a bunch of found footage movies, and a lot of them were filmed during the pandemic, which is super cool to see creatives, taking advantage of a disadvantage like that.
Yes.
And
if you don't mind me asking, and did you like them?
Well, yeah, there was remembering titles too. Now I have to.
We watched that one that was I could definitely look up the titles. There was the one with the family that, like, the kid. There was one we watched where, like, the kids, it was a filmmaker and, like, his kids wrote it, and, like, they filmed it with the kids as the actors. And that was a really interesting watch.
Was it
because it was completely done by the children.
Oh,
I'll look for the title.
Yeah, it's not super important. I just thought if it was...
we'll text each other after. I'll tell you the title.
There was a lot. We watched freaking 20 plus films, and they're just, but also
I can't come up with it. Well, Host obviously was shot during the pandemic, which
It was so great,
And that was, it was just so cool to see people who are like, well, I'm trapped at the house and I can't be around this, so why don't I just make a movie? It made me feel like a loser more than anything.
People really flexed their creative muscles, and I just, like I said, just drowned my sorrows in food. And like especially when I saw Host, I was like, oh, I should be doing this probably. But I loved it and enjoyed it. So I feel you. I feel you 100%.
So when I was writing down questions, this is my favorite one that I came up with, and it is, why is Speak No Evil your favorite film of the decade?
Okay, listen. I don't want to shit all over it, because here's why. I thought the acting was fantastic. I feel like for what they needed to do, what was presented to them, it seemed like they were doing their best to justify why they were making the decisions they were making. And it was shot beautifully. Like, it's very hard to make a film, and I don't like shitting on films. However, this particular one really pissed me off, because especially that ending, and I was like, I need to, because I heard a lot of people saying how much they loved that film, and I don't know why. Like, it is eerie, and you're kind of you get a big reaction from it, and I love that about films. But I needed someone to hate it as much as I did. So like, I needed to talk about, like, why are they making these decisions? And like, every review I saw was like, it's genius, it's this, and I understand that. But I was like, these characters, oh my God, like, I wanted to shoot somebody. I wanted to shoot them, and they would have let me. So I appreciated when I saw your review. It was, again, like that kind of like, okay, I'm not the only one. Fuck. But yeah, it was good. It was good. It had its things that were good. I will say that. And I thought the acting was superb.
Yeah, it's hard to act like a total pussy who just sits there and takes it.
Such a divisive film, and it's definitely a cultural thing. I think that was what we saw as a theme in like our comments with people that were really into it, is that it was like just a cultural divide, and it's fascinating. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's good to make a.
Don't.
When you said that, Kaylee, because I was like, are they just like, is it a cultural thing in that they're just so overly polite? And it can be a really interesting character study of how far you're willing to go. Like how far is too far in terms of politeness? And like
I can tell you how far is too far. When you go into someone's bedroom and they're naked in bed with your daughter, who's like
that took me over
8 years old.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, there's no fucking way.
No. Yeah.
Yes. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Like at that point, like I was like, are you kidding me? Like this is it's hard to believe. But I mean, art, it's subjective.
Yes, it is. That's so true.
Art
is also a clown.
Art is the expression and the clown. Very similar.
So where do you what can you talk about as far as like the future of the franchise, or where you see it going, or any inside info you can give us, and that kind of stuff?
I don't know what I'm allowed to say. I will say this. Damien has hinted. This is spoilers, right? We can talk spoilers.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't know.
Sure.
Yes, we should.
I guess if you haven't seen this movie, fuck off.
Right now, at this point, please fuck
off.
Yes. Damien has hinted towards Sienna returning. I'm not going to make any assumptions. I think that's to be seen. I think we have to see how Sienna continues to be received, understandably. And there's so much that can be explored with her character and her family and everything that's kind of happened. I have a bunch of ideas of what I would love to do with the character, as well as like the dynamic between her and her little brother. I was telling you, like, if you bring Jonathan back, like give that guy issues. Like he was 12, like he should be going through trauma. Give him substance abuse. Like this is something that would be so interesting to explore. But again, not my decision. I can only tell him what I think. So yeah, I mean, I know that Damien has huge hopes for Terrifier 3, and Damien has approached me for projects not related to Terrifier 3. I would work on anything Damien throws at me. I think he's a really talented artist, and yeah, I'd be happy to work with him again.
Well, let's see how people are receiving Sienna. Let's see. Lauren was awesome. One of my favorite girls ever.
Title girl, you have the title now.
Lauren is great. Definitely has big star quality. Oh, look at the.
I hate it. I hate being perceived. Like
awesome.
Being perceived, yes.
Look at this. Come on.
It's so much love.
You're not going to get anything here but love. I guarantee it. So there you go. That's how you're being perceived. Right there.
It's wonderful. It's so good to have
the best character. See, look at you. Look at you. You can blush it up. All right, I'll stop. Okay. I'm just saying.
Thank you for that.
Plenty of love. So people definitely want you back.
Absolutely.
So no question there.
No, not at all.
And we agree with that. You were wonderful.
Thank you. I'm so happy.
Trust me, I don't blow smoke.
He doesn't.
I don't know
very to the point.
I know this, and I think that's why I enjoy. I really love the balance between you two in your videos. Like Kaylee, you're such a sweetheart, and I love listening to you speak. And then Jason, I love I fucking hated that. I love that. I love that dynamic. It's so fun to watch, and I think that's why I keep returning to your channel, because there's a nice dynamic, and also there's truth, and I as an audience member appreciate that.
Oh, well, we appreciate that too. It means a lot to us.
Yeah.
Do you know when you first saw the channel? Out of curiosity?
Oh God, I couldn't even tell you, because I'm not a YouTube watcher. I'm not a YouTube expert, but I will. It had to have been a while ago, because I would go back and just go to my tried and true YouTubers that I'm like, okay, I feel like they'd agree with me, which is stupid. I shouldn't have an echo chamber. I should listen to other perspectives. But I felt like you guys would agree with me, except I do disagree with you on one film.
There we go.
I will talk about it with you if you want.
Yeah.
But I understand where you're coming from. But I was like, you know what? I loved it so much that I'll just
I'm on pins and needles here.
You're like, what is it?
What is it?
I actually really loved Caveat, and I know that you guys did.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You know what? We'll give it another shot for you.
Everything you said, like you weren't wrong. Like all of your points were not wrong, but the creepy imagery, which I think you guys said that you liked, like it got me. I couldn't sleep that night. I couldn't sleep, and that not many films do that for me. And I think that's what's so interesting, especially all art, but horror is so, it hits people so differently. It really affects people, and though that imagery, like the mom, like fucked with me for I was like, oh my god. And I actually really loved the main character's performance. Like I loved his reaction, because they weren't big reactions, they were just like, what the fuck? Like, and I loved that. So I kind of turned the other cheek for the issues that I know were a part of the film, just because I had so much fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I recommend a film to you then if you haven't seen it? Because I think that this is a better film than that in the same tone.
Is it Possum?
Possum.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, but I will.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I understand your guys' taste at this point.
I feel like it's Possum.
Yeah, it's Possum.
Yeah.
Or how about The Evil Within?
Oh man.
To throw that at you then.
That's one
since
that
I feel like
Evil Within. I don't know if I've seen that.
It's a film that was actually the fascinating story of how this movie was made. I think you'd be super obsessed with that as an actress, or an actor. What do you prefer?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. So there was this like meth addict, drug addict who was a millionaire because of like, I think he had like a trust fund or something, and he wanted to make this movie, and over like almost like 10 years. He was making this movie with fairly well-known actors. And he was just, in and out of drugs and this and that. And the production just kept getting pushed and all this stuff. And then after finally they finished filming it after years and years, he like locked himself in an editing room for like years, just like crazily throwing everything together. And he died before he even finished it. And like someone finished it for him and they released it, and it just feels like a drug addict's fever dream. It's amazing.
It's intense.
Oh, yeah, I would totally watch that. Oh my god, yes, I love that concept, and I love that story build. So yeah, I would totally watch that. Evil Within and Possum, which I knew that you would recommend that type of. But yes, I haven't seen it yet, but I will.
We have to get to this one because they paid. Love the movie, and your role was such a surprise with how involved it got people invested. Look forward to more roles. Awesome channel to hang out on. Thank you. He's still hammered after all this. Damn, dude, you need to take a break from the drink. Try being sober once in a while.
Yeah.
So we have a couple minutes left. So as promised in the description here, Lauren was also going to provide her
your favorite movies to watch around Halloween time.
Yes. There's so many, and it really depends on my mood during the day. It ranges from silly like Disney films to like horror films. Evil Dead, the entire Evil Dead franchise, from Evil Dead 1 to Ash vs. Evil Dead. And I actually really love Evil Dead 2013. I think Mia Allen might be my favorite final girl of all time. I thought she was incredible. She was scary. She was funny. She was heartbreaking and just fantastic. Like, I can't talk about Jane Levy enough. She was just like, I love her. I could watch her every fucking day. I mean, Halloween, and even the ones that people don't like I could watch the entire Halloween franchise. And obviously 1978 is my favorite. But like, especially the ones with Danielle Harris, like 4 and 5, I think. First of all, Danielle Harris for a child was fantastic. She was a child. She was fantastic in that film. And she's such a sweetheart in real life too. I could just have that on in the background every day. And that's why I love this time of year, because it's always on like AMC or something. hours thing. So I absolutely love that. I also love like the newer films. Like I really enjoyed Babadook. Like I know it's a little.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, like I think I talk about it a lot, but I really freaking love Babadook. And The Shining is another film that I love that I watch way too often for as long. It's a really long film, but like
same. I watched it way too many times.
It's just like it's genius. Like it's ridiculous. It's stupid good. It's stupid.
It is.
And I also really love Treehouse of Horror. The Simpsons.
Yes.
Goes since July. Like as soon as June is over, July 1st is Halloween for me, and I've just been like rewatching every episode. So yeah, there's a lot of others, but those are probably the first that come to mind.
Yeah.
Those are the authentic ones off the top of your head. January 1st is Halloween for Kaylee and I.
All year.
All the way to December 31st.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But like, I get really into the vibes. Like, I keep my Halloween decorations up all year round. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love the holiday. It's just something that just makes my soul like so happy. I don't know, like bats and pumpkins and creepy shit. I just love it all. It's truly my favorite holiday. I love it so much. I don't understand how people could like Christmas more. It's stupid.
Oh my gosh.
The Christmas decorations that I see, I'm like, can you give us a month? Like, can you give us a month? Like, Jesus, it's just so infuriating. But yeah, what about you? What about you two? What are your favorite films?
Well,
I want to interject there and say that Halloween's about to become way more special to us since our wedding is this Halloween.
Yeah, we are getting married this Halloween.
On Halloween?
On Halloween.
Congratulations. Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh, but you're going to have like a spooky theme? What are the colors?
Yeah. We're dressed as Beetlejuice and Lydia.
Beetlejuice and Lydia.
Want to guess where we got engaged?
Oh, yes.
No, just tell me.
We got engaged in front of the Myers house in Pasadena.
What's crazy about it is that this is a wild story, but we were at the Myers house doing the proposal, and there was somebody dressed as Michael Myers up in the window in Judith's bedroom and looking down at us. And you can watch because we have the video on the channel. And this guy's up there and he's in the thing. He watches the whole thing and then he gives us the thumbs up and everything after. So then a few months pass and my buddy Jeremy texts me and he's like, hey man, I want to let you know that the guy that was up in the window was Michael Daughtry, the director of Trick or Treat, Krampus.
Yeah.
He's like, he was up there. He rented the Myers house for like a month and he loved to like wear the mask and for Halloween fans, he'd come out and look.
So cool. So cool.
Mean, what are the odds of that?
Oh, guys, that's so special, you guys. Oh my God. So much. I love that so much. My partner and I are married, but we never had a ceremony. And I always say, like, I want it to be, like, we just went to, like, City Hall. I was wearing sweatpants. I did not give a shit. I was like, let's just be on it. We're married. Fuck it. I would love a spooky wedding. So I cannot wait to see those pictures. Like, please post them. Please send them. Oh, I'm so excited for you. Congratulations. Oh, my God. Beautiful story too. In the background, like amazing. I love
thumbs upping too. It was like perfect. So
as far as our favorite movies, I will honestly say that like I don't really rewatch movies anymore unless it's for Kaylee to like,
I'm the rewatcher. I'm like you, where I want the comfort
only
movies.
Do it, but now I only watch new movies. But I watch them for Kaylee, and of course, I mean, you name it. I mean, I'm good with it.
It's true, yeah. You're not super picky with any of the classics.
But Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yeah, okay.
Ernest Scared Stupid is definitely a classic to me for Halloween time. I love it so much. Yes. I can watch it every day.
Yeah.
And that's definitely one. What about you?
Well, I mean, I'm going to say Halloween just because I think that one, like, you just can't get more in the spirit for me. But
Halloween 4 has more of an autumn feel to it, though,
I know.
I have to say, of the Halloween movies.
And
even Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, has a fantastic Halloween feel to it.
But the movie that, like, and I haven't been watching it long because you introduced me to it, but Terrified is like the one that scares me so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one. I think that's
If you haven't seen that, it's on Shudder. It's
I have seen it. I've only seen it once, and I saw it a couple years ago, but I remember really liking it, but I can't really remember much about it. But I remember being like, oh, and whenever people bring it up, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember liking that. So yeah, good picks, guys.
Well, now you have a direct line to two people who can give you unlimited recommendation. You'd be like, hey, Jason and Kayla, what should I watch? You get VIP treatment here on the channel now.
You better believe I will be bugging the shit out of you guys to be like,
do it.
Watch tonight. Can you guys
we dare you.
Yes.
We got unlimited requests.
We really do.
All right, last thing here. This guy is still hammered, and he's coming back for some more.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Can't get any more real than a Halloween wedding.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
Thank you. Lauren,
thank you.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Yes.
You're a doll.
Yes.
And
100%.
you know, we'll get you back on the channel again for the next movie you make for Terrifier 16.
16.
Oh, yeah. Franchise money. I'm about it. Like, listen.
Sienna's revenge.
You guys, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to talk to you. You guys are really a breath of fresh air. And congratulations. Like,
thank you.
Such wonderful news. Thank you for sharing that with me, and wishing you like 100 million years of happiness and love.
We had 100 million years.
We
We're about to go on vacation to Halloween Horror Nights in Universal Studios Hollywood in a few days. We're on vacation right now.
Yeah, we are.
We're going to have those years of happiness. So thank you for coming on. And bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
All right. And get lost.